Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 182 of the Immigration Lawyers Podcast. We're having a great interview with our colleague and friend, Ritu Goswamy. I'm sorry, I apologize for that. Ritu Goswamy, who did an excellent article about, well, we're going to talk about it right now, but it's always about self-development and how to be, run your practice in the proper way so you keep your dignity up. And so we're going to talk about her article and a lot of other stuff she does. She's a glutton for punishment, going for her third round of books. So we're going to go into that and see how she did that and what it's about. It's going to be an excellent topic about leadership, which I'm looking forward to. But before we get into that, I want to thank everybody who's read the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine. It's out. Just go to www.immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com/magazine. It's got over 10 or 15 articles from different parts of immigration law. It's a big help for immigration practitioners, new and seasoned. So definitely check that out. And I also want to thank all the sponsors: Immigration Finder, Translate, Journey, and in particular DocuWise, who's always been a great friend to the show. DocuWise is the immigration software management, case management, forms, all the above. They're just excellent software I use myself. If you want to get an additional discount, 10% off their annual plan, go to www.docawise.com/immigration lawyers podcast and use the code immigration lawyers podcast for that. As a reminder, again, to go check out the magazine. So with that, let's jump to Ritu. How are you doing?
Hi, great. How are you?
Great. Thanks for coming on again. And thank you for submitting and publishing an article with the Toolbox. I know you have a busy schedule between books and all the things you're doing. So want to just help us catch up on what you've been up to since last time we talked?
Sure. Yeah, lots going on. I'm working on my third book. That's one thing I wanted to mention. It's called The Lawyer Leader. So my books, we've talked about it a lot. I think that's how we met. The New Billable Hour and The Holistic Lawyer, which are behind me. I'm finishing up the third in this series. It's about leadership, and it's essentially about self-leadership, right? So if we can lead ourselves, figuring out where we need to go, we can lead others. It's a different take on leadership. It's more about authenticity, about being ourselves in the legal profession. So as we know, as lawyers, we're often trying to do what other people have done or in other industries, and we're trying to mold ourselves and have some skills that other people have taught us. And so in my work, I'm talking more about finding who we are, finding our authentic self, leading ourselves, setting the stage for how we want to present ourselves to the world, and then people will follow. So I'm working on my book. I have my programs going. My New Billable Hour podcast is still there and on YouTube. And yeah, working with lawyers to help lawyers connect with themselves so they could be more productive and be more satisfied in their careers.
That internal leadership is so key, because the model that we have as lawyers is something we saw on TV and is the old school method. You have to dress in a certain way, talk in a certain way, deal with clients in a certain way. And that was something I wanted to break out of. I really like having a one-on-one relationship with clients. And lawyers are always like, no, stay away from clients, this and that. It's like, it's a fine line in a business between friends and keeping it professional. But that's something. And even the way you dress, and with COVID, eventually I gave up. I was a suit and tie. Now I'm more relaxed. It's always a debate. There's an image you portray for marketing purposes that people want to see a lawyer in a suit. And it's like, okay, that's important. But then what are you comfortable in? And the more comfortable you are, maybe the better you could think instead of a suit that's choking you up. What kind of tips do you have for people to kind of get out of that mindset?
So I do want to, this is related to the article, right? So the article is talking about respect, self-respect, and having people respect you. And I think, I don't even have the answer because I think I probably am the most casual person around. and then it got more casual because I live in the mountains, and I got more casual with COVID. But I think that the thing is that we have to figure out what's best for us, and what you just said. How do we feel most comfortable and effective, and to feel confident in ourselves and to respect ourselves? I think sometimes there's this disconnect when we're trying so hard to play a part, to look like something that we think clients want, as opposed to being ourselves. And it's scary. It's scary to really put ourselves out there and to show our true selves, as opposed to trying to play a part or trying to give people what they want.
I think like people, if they see the confidence in that, whatever way you are, even if it's different, that your confidence in it, they'll go with it usually, and they'll actually like it, because especially for a lawyer, like, oh, this person's so confident, they're doing things they want to. And sometimes they'll push back, and I've been stern with clients. I'm like, it's either my way or the highway. And it kind of that level of certainty in the way you got to do things, the way you want to do things, it turns a lot of people on. They'll say, okay, this person is not shy or like, insecure in themselves, not to be able to even present themselves in the way they want. So that level of certainty of just going and setting these goals and knowing who you are plays a key role in every aspect of not just personal life, but business life as well.
I think for clients, especially immigration clients, they're not worried about all that stuff, all that pretense that we are. They really want to know that they can trust you. They want to know that we're there for them. We have a connection, that we're real. Also, I think there's a lot of not real things happening in their lives. And so that, yeah, I don't think any of my clients, all the years that I've been practicing, have had a problem with how I present to them, as long as I'm honest and really connecting on a human level.
Yeah. One thing that's coming up is I'm at this point completely doing digital consultations. I don't plan on going back to in person. And once in a while, people do come and say, no, we want in person. There's not going to happen. And that's a lot of big shifts happening in the practice of immigration law. Now, if you're doing removal of offense, eventually you have to go in person or USCIS interviews. But in your students, what stresses have you been seeing with COVID and the transition to this new type of practice?
Yeah, people are figuring out technology. Lawyers are a little slower with that. So yeah, my clients are figuring it out. And after, it's been a year after the initial hub, they're like, why wasn't I doing this before? So people are zoomed out though, a little too much screen time. But I think that generally with my clients, it's given them time, some space from the hectic office life schedule, and so they're more able to focus on themselves, more able to do their personal growth work, and to pay attention to things that we've let go. Because when you have these routines where you're just constantly stressed, you can't really take a step back and look at, why are we stressed? What are we doing? What is my part in this? So a big theme is that people are able to more focus on themselves and see, what can I do differently? What do I want moving forward when things start to open up? How do I want to do things? And we really, as lawyers, we're constantly doing things for other people. That's what the new billable hour was. We're billing other people. We're chasing after things. And I think this time people are looking inward, but that's challenging because people don't want to take responsibility. Sometimes it's easier to just be like, I'm so stressed out. It's the client's fault. It's something out there. But when we really slow down, it's like, oh wait, it's me. Okay, yeah. Can I handle this? And that's hard, I think, for lawyers. We're fragile.
Yeah, that whole idea of taking responsibility for everything is something that's really important. It's hard, and sometimes you're not directly responsible or something. But I go back and be like, well, how could I avoid it in the first place, just for it doesn't happen again? Because there's only the world is going to happen, and you just have to take charge of what you can control and let the rest of it be, and try to avoid the problems that you could avoid it on your own. And so when you're looking at the new leadership book, what other points, and just imagine going down the table of contents, what are the headings and chapters about?
So there's 7 principles. There's going to be some organization. It's a book. So there's 7 principles for lawyer leadership: the authentic journey to service, working title. And there's authenticity. There's not all done, but there's authenticity. There's the chapter I'm working around. Okay, I know you write and you put together things. I noticed that when I'm doing a big creative project, now that I'm doing it from this place, it's usually something that I'm working on at the time. It's like what's challenging for me. So right now the chapter I'm working on is communication. So talk a little bit about nonviolent communication, about how we can be more clear when we communicate. And it seems like lawyers are, really good at communication, but we could be better. We could be better and more open and more collaborative and more centered when we speak, when we communicate in all the ways that we communicate, even
what kind of problems have you seen where people have come with you in their communication problems that you could have been made clear? Any examples of that?
Oh, all the time. We all have it, right? With our clients, with our staff, with our families. So It's basically words are not perfect. Like words are so limiting.
Mhm.
You know, like misunderstandings, lots of misunderstandings. Like someone is trying to express one thing and the other person's trying to express another thing, and then you clash and we can butt heads. And as lawyers, I think we're often like, we want to be right. We
Yeah.
want to be right. This is what I said, I want to be right. But we're not looking at the other side. We're not really listening. Like that would be the number one thing that we have a problem with, because we're so outspoken and confident and have a great command of language, and you know, and we're powerful, and we like to speak, and we like to get our point across. We're good advocates, but we have difficulty backing away and being like, okay, what is this other person saying? We may not agree with it, but what is this other person saying? And where can we meet in the middle?
Yeah, I hear you. And sometimes even the tone, you may not realize, like you say something it comes off harsher than it does in your head. So I have to be really conscious. And something I try to be, or sometimes I might be tired and someone says something innocuous and I'll just read it the wrong way because I'm tired. There's so many variables, and it's even above the words, it's where communication breakdown happens. And that's between us, where lawyers, that can happen, like let alone laymen who have, you know, difficult lives in their own way. So yeah, this communication breakdown from childhood above is something that definitely is something that's curing, if you want to cure the world. To me, that, and you know, I kind of think about this stuff a lot. I think a lot of the problems happen because of the difficulties and trauma people go as children, and between the physical abuse and the mental abuse through words, they kind of grow up, you know, kind of burned and charred, and all of a sudden, like it becomes difficult unless they go and heal themselves from that damage. To be able to communicate properly, have relationships that are proper, and just, you know, have a career that's you know, successful. I mean, there's so many people that choose their career because their parents keep yelling at them that they have to be a doctor, and they might be a doctor, which everyone's like, oh, you're a great doctor, but like they hate it, you know, and that maybe they'll end up killing a patient by accident because they're doing something they don't enjoy at all. So they're not going to pay attention as much, or not necessarily that's going to be the case, but it just really boils down to internally what you want to do. And if you don't want to do it, do something different and switch it up. And I mean, both of us are doing things that are really different from the typical immigration lawyer, because we've found other things that also interest us, that, you know, wake us up in the morning excited to do as much as difficult as it is.
And yeah, and we do, you're right though, and we have to process how we feel about ourselves, right? Because it's because you said doctor, but lawyer, right? I think we probably grew up in families that, okay, you know, to be successful, you're going to be a lawyer. And it's like, now what are you doing? And sometimes they I think I'm like secretly an artist. Like, yeah. I want to be an artist. I want to write. I want to influence people. I want to share things that sometimes it's my stuff, and sometimes I'm just channeling like that. That is true. I don't know where it came from. Yeah. And stuff is not very popular. And I do want to say for if you grew up as a minority, as a woman, as you know, often we've had to be more aggressive to be heard. I think that's true for me. I've had to be more aggressive, and now I have to tone it down and know that my power is there. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of habits. There's a lot of habits we have, and a lot of expectations that clients have, even that, okay, we're supposed to be this way. This is means you care about me.
Yeah.
So unwinding a lot of that it's very courageous work, and that's leadership. It's very courageous, and it's rewarding as well.
Wonderful. So how's the plan look on launching the book? And getting a book out is no easy endeavor. How does it look now? Probably next year?
It was supposed to be last year. It's going to be this year.
Oh, wonderful.
I just have to get myself together because it's the editing phase. If you've ever.
So you've already read it like 10 times already or more, and you got to read another 20 times?
I kind of just need to do stuff. And when I do it, I do it. And when I don't, I don't. I can't believe I'm saying this. But yes, by May, June. Wait, we're already in March? Yeah, by summer. Yeah. By summer, it'll be out. I am going to self-publish this time.
Nice.
The first 2 books was through a publisher, and I think that's why I went faster. So now I'm in charge. Yeah, we'll do a little online launch. I'll let you know about it, and I'll get you an early copy too, because you're always a good fan. Yeah, talk about it. Yeah, I have a program though running in beta. So my books have coaching programs. So the lawyer program has had graduates. It's going well. Yeah.
Well, you know, about self-publishing, I'm not sure how interested other people will be, but it interests me. It's my show. So you know, I've watched a lot of people who do publishing and stuff on YouTube, and they talk about the pros and cons of self-publishing versus publishing. Although it seems like you told me they got it done kind of because they put pressure on you to get it done by a certain date, probably. How is it actually publishing? I've seen people have gripes about publishing companies not giving priority or pushing things back and just not being there. Is that the case? That you experienced to a certain extent, or how is it?
You have to, unless you're very, very famous and have a lot of followers, you have to do all your marketing yourself anyway.
Yeah.
So it comes down to, okay, so do you want to involve this other entity or do it yourself? And I'm the first 2 books I did use a publisher, and I'm glad I did, and I learned a lot, and it got open doors for me. I just feel like now people kind of know who I am, and so I can just keep keep it more manageable and more, I can direct it a little more because I don't see any, like, the money goes out. Yeah. You don't see a lot when there's a publisher. Like, there's a big wall.
They swallow a big part of it, and
I want to know, are people buying the book? Where are they buying it? I want to get a lot of that directly. In the end, nothing is nothing is free, I was going to say. So you do have to, like, pay somewhere something when you're publishing. So you have to, I have an editor that I work with, and so you have to invest in yourself. And it's really cool though, because you get a book out there, and then it's out there, and people talking about it, and you're helping people
breathe life into this world, because your book's there, and 1,000 years from now, it's probably going to be there too. So it's a piece that lives forever. It's like
legacy. It's a legacy, which is, I don't have any children, so I think my books are my children.
Yeah.
I want to keep writing. So I'm glad I'm doing it.
Well, if people wanted to know more or to reach out to just get more information where your books are and contact you, what's the best way they can go? Best place to go?
Website is ritugoswamy.com. I should have put it in my little thing like you did.
What's your name right there? So .com at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. So I put it in one. Yes, this is my full name, ritugoswamy.com. And there you can book a free consultation with me. My first consultation is always free, about my books, about I have a community membership. It's all there on my website.
Wonderful, Ritu. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for contributing to the magazine. Please keep us posted. A new book comes. We'd love to have an article to talk about, synopsis that you put out there, so people can learn more about the book too. Stay on the line, but I want to thank everyone who listened. Just catch the magazine at immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com/magazine, and we'll be back soon. Bye, everyone.